And we are live on Facebook. Hey, everybody. I am Kathleen Sherman, Shamanic Medical Intuitive. We've got Bonnie Burd and Dani Muench today. Yay.
Hey.
Jennifer's tired. So she's taking a little relaxation tonight. Yep. But we wanted to come on and introduce Dani and have a live chat. She's got some amazing gifts that we want to share with everybody. And welcome, everybody.
Yeah.
Hi. Yay.
Yeah. Hi.
Hello. So Dani is an amazing healer. She's the one who got me into this stuff. She's the first one. And yeah, and she just went, you should learn Reiki. And I went, I can't do that stuff. And she goes, yeah, you can. And then I ended up going to Bonnie to teach me. So that's so amazing.
There you go.
So I've got two of my mentors sitting right here that we're working with. So it's so amazing to have you both with me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everything that both of you have done for me. Because without you two, I would never be here. I would never be where I'm at.
All right,
you're so sweet,
girl.
Send the love around.
Yes.
I wouldn't be here either, Kathy, if it wasn't for you, because you know I'm a chicken liver. I wouldn't be doing no lives. So I'm sending love to you for that.
Thank you. Well, and it had to take a group of us to get together to start doing them, because I would get on and I would try and do some lives. I'm like, this is kind of, what am I going to talk about? You know, but when it's more of us, it's so much fun. And it's just like getting together and just being goofy, hanging out and talking about the stuff we talk about. And it's so interesting that, and I got to bring Nancy on here for a live too sometime, because she's the one that kind of gave me this idea in the first place. And so, and just to sit and talk about what she calls woo-woo stuff, you know, and people don't understand. Just so a bunch of psychics talking is amazingly fun.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And it's just normal language to us, but to other people, it's, what are they talking about?
Exactly.
What planet are they on?
Yes. So Dani is, Dani, what was your Facebook page is called Reiki with Dani Muench, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then, so if people want to get a hold of you, and you do in person and, you know, sessions over phone or Skype or whatever, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yep.
And Dani's an amazing, she's a Reiki master healer. She's an intuitive healer, and she is an amazing psychic. So another thing she does is she works with animals. She's a horse trainer, and she can communicate with animals and all kinds of things. You want to talk about it, Dani?
Sure. So with the animals, it's pretty much the same what I do with the Reiki. We either, during a Reiki session, I ask spirits who walk in the white light to come forward, Archangel Michael, Raphael, to come and heal in the sessions. And the same I ask for that for the animals, and they have another story to tell too. And sometimes it's a little bit harder to listen to them sometimes, or you know, messages don't come through clearly. So I try to help them out a little bit with that, and also helping out with, you know, relaxing. I mean, there's a lot of, and this is dogs, cats, any kind of animal, like they have anxiety, they have blockages in their chakras, is the same as we do. So that is the same what I'm healing or releasing there with a human being as with the animal as well. And it's a lot of fun. I mean, those animals have a lot to talk sometimes. So it is wonderful. And I used to be around horses since I was 8 years old. I did teach lessons. I trained some horses, and right now with kids and everything, life changes, but that's okay. And I still enjoy working with the animals in that part for sure. Yes.
So do the animals tell you funny stories, or do they tell you about their owners and stuff like that? I just wonder.
Yeah, sometimes. And it's really hard because, and I'm sure you guys feel the same. When you go into a session, you don't need to know everything. Like some people want to try to tell you, you know, again, people or animal, like what their favorite things are or what their problems are right now and all this kind of stuff. And I like to just go in there blind and figure out what's going on, and let them tell me the story. And it can be sometimes a little disappointing. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And from simple things with, I like the carrots, or the owner thinks they like the carrots and they absolutely hate the carrots. I mean, this is just a very, tiny example, but yeah, it's
Or do they
interesting.
have like personalities like you sometimes your cat feels like they're a little smart, Do they
Oh, yeah.
have like little, you know, personalities that are really cute and stuff like that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is, I think, the best part about it. You get to, and I had the pleasure to work with horses, especially for many, many years, and to really be able to meet their personalities, to be around them, to feel like even their sadness too, or when you're upset, it's really no joke when we say, like, the dogs like you or not, they can feel your fear, they can feel your anger, they can feel, the bad or the good in you as well. That is with every animal. I mean, from snake to whatever it is, any kind of thing. So yeah, it's very important to listen to them as well.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You're always wondering what's going on in their head, when you're talking, because you think, intuitively you think, but sometimes you're not right, and it helps to go and get someone to help you communicate with your animal, especially if they're sick, if they're not doing well, and you don't know for sure what it is, and, get some clues onto what's going on with them,
Right.
I
Absolutely.
have a question for you. Do you believe that we have had lifetimes as animals, or do you believe that we've all been?
No, absolutely. And because it's the other way around too. Sometimes when I work with an animal, it's just they're so human-like. So they've had something else in their previous life as well. That you can literally see them with glasses on and a pen and a paper and writing. I mean,
Really?
yeah, or sitting there and
So their
knitting.
personality comes through.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
so cool.
It is.
Wow.
And even we're not just working with the ones they're still with us. I mean, even for people, they have animals, they moved on. It helps. It gives a little bit of a piece of your mind, and I've had a situation where very, very dramatically a friend of mine lost her horse, and that takes some healing for both. He was ripped out of this life really harsh, and that takes as much healing for him or for his soul to move on as for hers, who had to live through this nightmare. So yes, and this takes some time, and I think everybody is involved to help. If there's a psychiatrist you're seeing with, or medical help you need, whatever it is, it's a team. It's a
So
team.
have you sometimes just done a reading where the animal's just depressed, it wanted to go outside more, it just unhappy? I mean, it's simple as that. I mean, sometimes you think they're sick and they're just sad,
Yep, many times, which that is, I hate to say this, it's almost the easier part to say, okay, you need to talk a little nicer to them, or the depression is almost easier to get out than to having the physical part of it. And this is sometimes, it is actually in the energy work and the healing part, the messier part of it, when you have the depressions and the soul is really broken. But it almost feels like with the animals, they're maybe they're a little bit more motivated than us, to be able to heal quicker and better.
Yeah. Do you think that like if you have a dog or a cat or something, and the person is depressed? I know animals are little healers, but is it hard on them physically if they're always trying to help their owner heal, or their parent? Well, I call them their parents, because I mean, they're our children. I feel that way. But if they're trying to help their parents heal, I mean, is it hard on their system?
Yes,
Do you think?
absolutely. Absolutely. Because pretty much 99% of all the animals are empaths, and they are just sucking that out of it. And it is, I'm a true believer that all the animals find us in our life when we need them. You meet your cat, your dog, your bunny, your bird, whatever it is, in that time where you need them the most. And unfortunately, then they will leave most of the time when you don't need them anymore.
I
And
know.
you know, I mean, they always take a part of us with them and a part of our hearts, but it is, yeah, it
It's
really,
so worth it though.
it is very, very worth it. But
My little kitten that I have now, he came to me in spirit. He kind of walked up my belly and booped my nose and
oh,
said, "Can I come, Mom?" And I said, "Yes, of course." And then I thought, I have a cat, and I thought when I woke up in the morning, oh my gosh, I think my cat's pregnant, and she was.
ah, there you go.
So, so yeah, and it was he's one of my childhood dogs, but he come back as a cat. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool. So yeah, it's amazing how animals are, and they're in your Akashic records. That's the coolest part. They keep coming back
Yes,
to you because you showed them love. You know, they love
exactly.
you. They want to be in your family. But
And
I'll,
it's just
I'll let Kathy talk. I've been hogging you up because you're so
No,
interesting.
you're great. I'm just listening in. I know a lot about Dani, so it's great questions you're coming up with.
Oh, my heart's just excited to talk to somebody who understands animals. See, because I was born with that. I didn't do anything with it, but I intuitively know what they're saying and what they want. And
right.
I've often thought of doing that, but I just do it with my own animals right
Right.
now. But yeah.
And
So
it was really interesting when I worked with the horses for all these years. We were 3 different instructors or trainers, and it was really nice to have those 3 different people, because there were so many horses where it's like with people sometimes too. You get along with one person better. It clicks better than with another person. And that was for the horses the same. So we had 3 amazing people. We could split up all those horses. We could make the fit how it worked
yeah.
the best. And then it just, the end result was just phenomenal. And I think that is really the key sometimes too, when you have different people and you want a horse, well, maybe that's not the right animal. How about you start with a cat?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like kind of fit is, yeah.
But
It's
you know
good.
what I found with cats? They choose their owners. You don't choose
Oh
them.
yes. Oh yes. They are
Yeah.
very
And
picky.
when the kittens were all born, I was like, well, which one are you? There's like 7 of them. And I remembered seeing black, and I didn't know if there was a little bit of white, but it ended up he was a tuxedo because he made himself known to me. He finally
Right.
he would seek me out every time I came in there. So, and I absolutely know it's who it was now,
Yeah.
because I was
Mhm.
praying for him, and I was saying his name's Jasper, and they were saying no Snowball, and I went no Jasper, and then no Snowball 3 times, and then finally I went, oh my gosh, it's Snowball. It's my childhood dog. So cool how spirit is. It's so cool.
Yeah. Yes, it is. It's fun.
Do we
So I
have
have a
people
question
asking?
for you, Dani.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I have a question for you. Have you had a situation where, I know, because you worked through farms for many, many years with
Mhm.
horses and stuff. Did you have a lot of times where you got stuff intuitively to help a horse out physically, if it was having some kind of physical pains or problems, where you could get that information?
I think yes. So looking back to it, I know yes, but at the time I had no idea that that's what I'm doing.
Mhm.
It was, you know, many, I don't know, many situations. One horse comes to mind in Germany back then. He had a back problem, so I would stand there and give him back rubs and get some, you know, liniment and all that kind of stuff. And uh, well, those were maybe obvious signs for some people, but that just felt like he needed that and he enjoyed that. And he would say that too. Or, I mean, yeah, there are some situations definitely where you get that.
Mhm.
And now even more so because I'm listening to it. Before I wasn't quite listening to it, but yeah, now I know what I'm looking for.
Exactly.
We should say hi to Robin and Dennis and
Yes.
Jody, and who else is here?
Rochelle,
Michael.
hello. Jody,
Michael.
yep. Sammy,
Yep. And
Casey, Jesse.
ELKE. I'm not sure how do you say that? Elke? Am I saying your name right? I hope I am. And Jessica, and who else are we saying hi to? Yep, Rochelle.
Michelle.
Hi, Rochelle.
And Kathleen.
And okay, there, I don't see any questions yet, but as someone
Not questions.
said,
So
except for Robin said that she says, I can feel the love emanating from Dani.
Aw.
Yeah. Okay. So go ahead.
Well-
I just wanted to acknowledge everybody.
yes, thank you. So Dani, do you want to tell us a little bit about how you came into your gifts and everything? I mean, I was there with you, but you know, I want you to tell it. Why don't you tell your own story?
Well, I always was a believer in it, but I never knew where to start. I never knew how to begin anything, any of the journeys. And it was actually your mom who brought me to Choices. And we were talking about a house cleansing. We were in the middle of buying a house and, you know, everything changing. And I always thought, nah, wouldn't be a bad idea maybe. So she got me there. And that's how I met a bunch of people. And that's how it all kind of started rolling. And I had that was in that time I had my first psychic read by Crystal, a wonderful medium. And she kind of got me also in the idea that, hey, you know, might be doing this and might be doing that. And there, and I started with Reiki. And at first I was like, oh, should I really do this? And yeah, I don't know. And I did that first day, first class, and I'm like, yep, I'm pretty hooked. So, and that just rolls from there. And I love it that it's not just black and white. You learn every time you have a session. It's different every time you expand. I mean, it's changing every time. It's a lot of fun.
Do you notice that in the higher energy, since we've been doing the ascension and things have been changing rapidly, that have you noticed that every session you learn something new and you realize you could do something more that you never would have thought of? And so it's like spirit is working with you just to enhance and raise it even higher, like bring you to the next level. Seems like every time you do a session, and it's almost like you can't even, if you think of the traditional Reiki, there's no such thing anymore.
No,
It's everybody has their own brand because they work with all our filters and they work with all of our energy language. So everybody has their own brand. So it's just all in who you resonate with, you know?
Yeah,
Cool.
that and it's different. There were different spirits, they would show up. So then there were Native American spirits one time, whatever the connection is to and the energy you're working on. It was from their loved ones they passed, or like I said, the Native American animals. I mean, every time something else comes forward, and also the tools, you know, using. I work with crystals sometimes it's energy bells, sometimes it's oils, you know, whatever is asked for from that energy. And at first, even with crystals, like, can I really, like, should I really put that crystal on there? And, you know, like little things like that. And it is so fascinating, so much fun that it's never the same, even for the person who gets a session. And I mean, we all have sessions, we trade or whatever it is. So every time we receive that energy as well is different, and whatever we need or our energy needs too, you know, past life coming in, you know, there's so much. Oh, love it.
I do love it. I mean, you can't get tired of it because you're learning something every time you pick it up, every time you start to do another. Even when you're working on yourself, you're doing your own meditations and you're working on yourself, they're teaching you more and more things. It's such an exciting time right now for all these modalities. It's just really amazing. So,
and I was going to say, I think that they're also going back to the basics for me. A lot of it is they're showing me a lot of, actually they were showing me with one specific lady that I worked with, really specific healing techniques that we had in Lemuria actually. And it was a specific type of leaf that we were wrapping around her arm and stuff like that. And I was just like, this is so cool. And they were showing me how we did it in ancient times, how things were healed in ancient times. And so it was just so cool. I'm like, this is just so cool. Because, you know, we all do work together. You know, I've done a lot of work with Bonnie. I've done a lot of work with Dani. And as a matter of fact, you are both my teachers. So you both taught me how to do this stuff and how to channel and all that stuff. So I'm kind of a combo between both of you, which is so cool.
There's always a little bit of something from everybody you meet. Really,
you
honestly, you're my teacher too. Everybody is teacher to each other. It's really amazing. Robin wants to say that she thinks that Reiki is evolving into something really different, something,
Yeah.
you know, higher in energy, more, and I think so too. It's just, I think it's bringing us back to the natural way. The more powerful way is natural way of doing things. And so, and it's not so hard for us to connect anymore because, you know, the energies are so much higher, and it's so easy. It's so much easier for us to rise to where they're at. So, yeah, I think that we're just scratching the surface. There's going to be so much
Oh
more.
yeah,
It's so exciting.
definitely.
I've
And
I've been having to journal, you know,
Yeah.
keep things written down because you forget. Oh my gosh, you know.
Yeah. I got like at least 6 books laying around here, you know,
Me
notebooks,
too.
getting
Me
stuff
too.
in. Yeah.
You know what though? For me, they've stopped having me read books because I haven't had the time. I've been busy, but they've had me stop reading books because they're having me channel the new stuff, because stuff in a lot of the books is kind of not
Old
outdated
energy.
already. A lot of the stuff actually that I was reading, especially if it's older, is really good, but they're taking us to the next step now. And that's exactly what Robin's talking about, is they're taking us to the next step. They're like, ooh, okay, you already got this. So I take those things as like an outline. And then I just let them show me the cool new stuff.
I let them fill it in. But you know, but it's the notebooks we're talking about we have laying everywhere because we're always trying to remember what we did because it's so cool. I just try to write it down.
You know, got in the car, every room. Yeah.
Yeah. And can you imagine if somebody picked it up and started reading it? They would think we were crazy. What is this person talking about?
Yes. And I say for people, they're not quite sure where they want to go or how they're going to start. The Reiki is really a great way to start, to get your feet wet and to get into energy work, to get attuned, you know, to really open up. And this is, I think, a very, very good start, a very good baseline. And then you need to know, okay, go where you want to go. Are you just doing reads? Are you doing energy work? Are you doing cards? You know, are you going to make it a combination? Whatever it is for you. And that's when we said earlier, you know, we're all teachers, and yes, we do receive every time I do a session. Sometimes I'm like, should I really like be charging anybody? Because I got like a lot more than they did. You know?
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's pretty amazing. I know. Robin's saying that it's the earth magic that's coming back. That's so powerful and so strong. She's saying that, yeah, she doesn't read a whole lot of books either. But I mean, I read them only if it's just, if I see it and it's like, oh, I have to have it, and then I'll read it. I end up not reading some of it. I don't end up reading the whole thing, but kind of whatever it is they're trying to point me towards, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's more they are just always talking to us, always giving us things. And have you noticed how fast the synchronicity is moving now? Because like you could just say out loud, you have to be careful what you say out loud. I need to do this, but I need to know, I need to find a way. And next thing you know, it's happening.
Yeah.
Or things will be putting itself together, and then you'll change your mind and look over here, and then this will fall away, and now something else is putting itself together. So it's like we don't realize how easy it is to create, and we're just like little kids in the toy house knocking things down, trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, this is pretty. I want to do this. Oh no, I want to do this. Oh, maybe I want to do that.
And I think that's what a lot of people do. And I did that. I was like, I had my hands on 5 different things at first until I realized, I'm like, okay, I got to kind of focus on one thing at a time. When you're first starting off, that it can really mess you up, but it's kind of cool at the same time. Hey, Dani, I wanted you to talk about the classes you've been taking.
Well, I've been just trying to stay on my toes with more information about the animal communication, but I also just finished the first round of forensic medium work. So
how cool.
Yes, that is really always something I was interested in. I always wanted, you know, CSI was like, yay, my thing, but that is for everyday life, not my option anymore, which is fine. But this is very interesting.
That's some heavy work, though.
Yes.
I mean, it takes somebody with a way to deal with that kind of trauma and be okay. you have to balance your emotions about it.
Especially, well, and if you work with families, of course, there's so much heart involved in this, you know, when they lose someone, when someone goes missing, you know, all of this stuff, missing, murdered, and everything there. That is a tough one. So that is something I'm definitely going to have to work on to stay that distant from it. But hey, we're all human, you know. we got
It's
heart.
it's like, you know, like the hospice workers, they're working in that
Right.
heavy energy too. It's
Right.
sadness, you know, but there you know, there has to be people that can do that, because
Mhm.
otherwise, you know, who's going to help, you know? And that's
Exactly.
just really, you know, awesome that you can do that, you know,
Well,
because
the teacher I was taking the classes with, she's been doing that for a very, very long time. And she said, you know, the distancing is, of course, at first a little bit harder, but then, you know, you will get there after some time, and who you work with and what you get involved with. And you can always say no. You know, that is something. I think I have two little ones. If I would have someone losing a little one, or it's about children in general, I probably wouldn't do that at first. You know, I would say, I'm sorry, I can't help you there. But she also did say, like, you know, even the law enforcement right now is they're not really officially saying that they work in with psychics or, you know, any kind of mediums, but some of them maybe do. but most of the time is they are working like at least 75% with a lot of them, and they get their clues. I mean, it's not that you solve the case, you know, that is wishful thinking, but you give them clues, you give them ideas, you give them corners where they haven't looked yet or didn't about yet. And that is, even that, I mean, like this, there were a lot of cases solved, and that's amazing. If you can just be a little part of it, or a little clue of this to help someone have peace or find your loved one or whatever it is, hey, I'm all for it.
You know, because I've had like you know, because since I was a child, I always had nighttime visitors, I called them, and that were people who need help, that, you know, something happened to them, they need to be seen to the light. And I it's really hard for me when they show me how they died. So that's why I couldn't do it as a day, you know, regular job. You know, I don't mind if once in a while there's, you know, God sends, or Jesus or someone sends that person to me to help them, but I couldn't do it on a day-to-day basis, because it's so hard to see, because it's so traumatic a lot of times what happened to them. And so I guess it's just not, you know, God bless the person that can do that every day. And I'm so grateful that you can do that. That's amazing.
I don't think I would want to do it every day, you know, but it is definitely something what is widening the horizon here. And just I always, when I started all of this, I blocked this part of it. I never wanted to see dead people. I never, like, I was afraid of it, like, oh, you know, they like
horrible. I didn't have a choice, but yeah.
Well, you know, no thanks, not right now. And then after a while, it just, I'm like, okay, first of all, most of the time they really don't look like you think they look. And if there's one what doesn't look right, well, then, you know, then we're going to take care of it. But it is part of it. And now I'm like, whatever.
Mine, where before I would be like scared to death, but now I'm more like, you know, what do you need? You know, you know, do you need to find the light? You know, it's easy because you kind of know what to do, because if they're coming to you because they see your light, you know, that's more than likely what they need, you know.
For sure.
But as a kid, you know, when it happened when I was a kid, I didn't understand that. I didn't have someone to help me with that. So yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's important for people to work with their kids and be open, because a lot of kids close up. I see a lot of clients that, you know, that I see, and they close themselves up as a child because they were told that what they were seeing wasn't real. Parents didn't believe them, and I don't think that they meant, they didn't think it was real. So they just told them it wasn't real, and then they shut it off and had problems ever since, you know, similar to that, Bonnie, and, or, you know, told don't talk about it. you know, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And
My parents, they were spiritual, but they just, I mean, they had gifts too, but they just didn't talk about theirs either. So,
Right.
yeah.
I think that that's what a lot of people have gifts, and a lot of people have seen things, whether it scares them or whether it's like seeing an angel or whether if it's seeing, you know, somebody that's a ghost or something like that, and they just don't talk about it, but they're
Right.
really interested because it is really interesting.
Yeah,
And
but pretty much if
everybody
you
wants
get
to
them,
know.
if you get talking to somebody and so you'll say, if you say, do you believe in ghosts? If they've seen them or heard them, they're going to tell you, but don't
Yeah.
tell anybody. Don't tell anybody, but yeah.
Or if they have abilities that, you know, that nobody should
Yeah.
know about or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
natural and it's God given. You know what I mean? It is.
Yeah.
And I
Um,
think mom was one of those people. There was, you know, back then there was no way anybody would believe, or even my grandma, there would have been no way that she would believe or supported my mom, you know, not at all. And the older she got, and then when my dad passed away, you know, she would get in a car and all the mirrors would be like mixed up and moved, and she's like, oh, I knew it was him, but I never wanted to admit it, you know. So now that I'm doing this and we're talking about it, and you know, she's getting a little bit more comfortable, and that's great, because that woman, I tell you, she can see, she just doesn't want to.
Yeah. Well, you know, my dad, when I grew up, I talked about the house we grew up in. It was haunted really bad. And I was talking and my dad goes, yeah. He goes, it was haunted. And I go, how come you told me every time I told you I heard something that it was just my imagination?
Right.
He goes, I figured you'd eventually stop listening. But no, I was sleeping with the blankets over my head every night. Scared to death.
Now for me, I just was freaked out about everything when I was a kid. I had a lot of nightmares and stuff like that, and I think I just shut myself up. So what
Me
I can
too.
remember from me as a child, I had already shut stuff out. I know that I was completely born wide open, because as a matter of fact, I've heard
Yeah.
stories about me communicating with my mother, like talking out loud, but from what I've heard and what my guides tell me, and what Callie actually had told me, was that she was actually psychically talking to me, and I was talking and she was hearing me. And so we were able to communicate when I was brand new baby. And I'd heard that from all my aunts and my dad and stuff, and I'm like,
Yeah.
wonder what that was. And so
See,
that was one of the first things I was trying to figure out.
when I was little, I thought when they were showing me how they died, because that's the first thing they do, I thought I was having nightmares. I had no idea what it was. It would have been so much easier if he hadn't just wished it away or hoped that I would stop paying attention to it, because he
Right.
was just as gifted. He just didn't. He told me later, you know, he was just as gifted. He just was hoping
Yeah.
that I would just ignore it after a while.
I want to tell a story about you, Dani. Can I tell
boy.
a story about you? It's
Oh.
okay. It's a good one. I tell this story a lot. I've told it a lot on social media and people talking, but the one person, you are one of the most strongest, you have one of the most strongest energies out of anybody that I've ever had Reiki or energy work with. And I wouldn't just call it Reiki, because you do more than that, really. But when I didn't know what was going on with my body, because I had gotten hit by a ball really, really hard. And it basically knocked me out of my energy field when it happened in 2010. And I was pitching, and that happened to me, and it really messed me up. And so, you know, a couple years down the line, how many years ago was that? Probably 4 or 5 years ago. How long ago did you learn Reiki? 5?
Yeah, like 5, like that. Scarlett was.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And so Dani, you had done a couple sessions on me, 1 or 2 sessions on me, and I hadn't figured out I didn't understand what energy was or any of that stuff yet. And I probably felt stuff, but I had no idea what I was feeling, you know. And then you remoted in on me. Remember, you remoted in on me. And so you can do Reiki from a distance, everybody. Like, there is no time or space. So you can just connect in with somebody through your consciousness. And she connected in with me, and I had always had these horrible pains because I had a form of shingles repeatedly over and over and over. And I had a lot of nerve damage, my whole right side of my head, my ear, my jaw. And this right here where I had gotten hit by that ball was the worst at that time. And I remember I was going to pick up beef in Marshall, which is not far from you. So we were close in proximity actually too, because she lives there. Yep. And she remoted in on me, and I was, I had gotten used to the fact that I just hurt all the time. I thought that would be the rest of my life. And that pain was just always there. It was horrible. And I just started to learn to live with it. I took a lot of like Advil, Motrin, stuff like that. It's not good for you. And when she remoted in on me, because you were practicing, when she remoted in on me, it was really bad that day. A lot of pressure, and it felt like sinus pressure to the 10th degree. And all of a sudden I felt it really pressure really, really heavy right there. And then it went and it just lifted out, and it was literally gone. And I was like, holy crap, that is real. That was Dani that did that. She was so amazing. And like literally, Dani, I don't know if I've ever had anybody just completely take my pain away like that, when it was excruciating pain. And I just went, huh?
It was ugly.
It was ugly. And I remember because you didn't know, you didn't know what was going on. And you just said, you felt the worst pain when we talked afterwards. You said, I feel great. Cause I felt like $1 million. I hope we didn't miss Dani. If so, she'll come back in. But yeah, so you are one of the most powerful healers that I've ever experienced. And I've experienced a lot of healers now. Wanted you to know that.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you. And it's great if you can have it, be that successful, because that's what you want. You want to help. You want to help, and you want to make them feel better, whatever it is. And I've had one girl tell me, and it was like I could feel your headache pain. It was quite rough. But she had also some headache that day. And she said, you know what, Dani, when you put your hands up there, all of a sudden I felt like you're pulling my teeth out. It was such a, pressure power to just release it through there. And it was kind of funny when she said that. But yes, it's then when you feel that release, that's just the best feeling. Been there.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And it started me, because I didn't really understand the whole energy thing yet at all. And then, and that prompted me to go, holy crap. And it made me start thinking maybe I could heal myself like that. Maybe. And that's why I took Reiki, remember? Because Dani, you were like, you should try and learn about Reiki. And I was like, I don't know. There you go. And that's okay. And so at that point, that's when I started going, oh, I can heal myself. I don't have to deal with being sick. I don't have to be sick. Because I was actually at the point of getting diagnosed with fibromyalgia at that time. And I was always in pain. I mean, I was an active person. I was a runner. I would run half marathons. I was teaching water aerobics. So I was an instructor. I was very, very active, played ball, pitched, did all that stuff. And I felt like crap 24/7. And so once I learned how to do Reiki, and actually I started going in, and I went to Bonnie at Choices and learned Reiki, and then just kind of flourished from there. And little by little, all of that stuff has been gone for a long time. So, for what, 4 years, something like that. 4 years since I started. I had to do my own work, but
we all kind of have to.
Yeah. Well, we're still doing our own work. We're still doing our shadow work and all that. Sorry about that, guys. Someone was knocking on my door.
That's okay. I was gonna say, we had Robin said on the energy, she said this is the only, and they say this is only the tip of the iceberg. Can you imagine what life's going to be like when we have more people that have raised their vibration? And she said, boom. And hi, Corrine. And Cassie said, you gals are so interesting to listen to. Thank you for making this live. You're so welcome. That's the whole point of it, is like, we just want to have fun. Girls just want to have fun.
Yeah, and we thank you for asking the questions in your comments, because that makes it more fun for us too.
It does. We love to answer questions. So if anybody has questions. So Dani, you've been doing Reiki for about five years or so.
Yeah. something like that.
How long have you been getting psychic information? Like, when did that start coming in? Did you get that as a kid where you look back and you went, oh yeah, that was psychic information?
Probably. I used to do, when I was a teenager, I got my first set of tarot cards, and I used to do some reads for friends or for myself. And I think that's when it kind of started. And I never put 1 and 1 or 2 and 2, whatever it is, together, and we just had fun with it, you know. And I think that's when it started, and when I opened something in there, because then it got more and more and more. And like I said before, sometimes we're either afraid to listen to, we don't really know what's coming or what's going on. You know, that's what everybody, or a lot of people go through. They're just afraid of it. You know, all of a sudden you see something dead walking around there. So, I mean, what are you going to do? Who are you going to ask? You know, and this is why right now I think it's amazing that this group here, or like the Gifted, or anywhere else, you know, where you can go to and actually ask, and you can get your education with it, you can get help with it, anything, because that's what everybody needs. I mean, there's so many question marks, and I didn't have that when I was younger. So I wish I did, you know, and at the beginning too, till you kind of like, you know, meet a couple of people and stuff, and figure it out. But yeah, it is, I think, you know, and everybody comes with the capability of seeing, hearing things, whatever it is. You just, like we said earlier, you either, you know, told not to believe in it, or you just think you're crazy because you're starting to talk to yourself, and, you know, and yeah.
Well,
so
the interesting thing is that we are doing our shadow work all the way back to when our filters started, and that's around 3 or 4 when you start, you know, finding your reality out away from your mom, and you're starting to learn things, and your filters start right that early. And then even the harder part is the all directions and times. So you're not just doing this lifetime, you're doing all lifetimes. So it's a lot to be working with. And, you know, that's why, you know, all these modalities that we do, it helps us to work through them and release them. And we're going to create a better world because of it. We just have to do the inner work first, because our outside world, it's shown through our inner work. You know, what we look inside is what our, you know, you can tell when someone's sad and depressed, and their home looks the same way. When they're happy and everything, you know, they're in alignment, then everything's all sunshine. I mean, they have a beautiful place to live usually. It's just, we create from the inside out. And so all these different modalities and having all these different people on here is such a blessing, because we get to learn and see what it is. I mean, even if we have, you know, even though we all do Reiki, we have our own filters and we have our own brand way of doing it. It's also completely different. So it's just really amazing to meet all these different people and get to shine and show everybody what your gifts are. So being here tonight. You know?
it takes a village sometimes.
Yes.
It does.
Yeah, we can talk about where you work out of too, if you want to. Talk about the Gifted.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now with everything going on, unfortunately, I'm personally not there right now. I am here at home. I'm either doing it online, Skype, Zoom, phone, you know, whatever is available. And I when I do Reiki, I set up a little table and do my long distance sessions that way from home. But usually, yep, we're in Charlotte, and right now I think that's even 12 people or something. So it's been growing over the last year like crazy, which is amazing. So from selling things like crystals and sage and all that kind of stuff, we have a lot of different things there: Reiki healers, psychic reads, card readers, reflexology, massage, and this is all, I mean, it's not just a headline. Everybody has their own little thing with it, you know, to do the massage with crystals and oils, and Yeah, it's pretty fascinating, and trying to get the classes going there and Reiki shares and all that kind of stuff. So it's tune in there, and hopefully we're getting more classes going here. I'm guilty as charged. I need to, get going and teach a couple more too. But
Yeah. But you
yeah,
can do them on Zoom. You can do anything. I found through this COVID, anything that you're doing, you can do it on Zoom. So, you
yeah.
know, Cassie is saying, how do you tap into yourself? She's asking the question, how do you tap into yourself? Does anybody want to answer that for her?
You want to answer, Dani?
Well, I
Since you're
think
here.
we're, everybody does it on their own ways. I always recommend with first stepping to go with through either breathing sessions, I want to call them, or your meditation, to ask the question, to tap into this, to ask for your guides, to ask for your gifts. They will bring it to you. They will tell you when you open up for it, but you have to be ready for it. And I have a friend of mine who's trying to figure this out, and so desperately trying to figure it out, that it's just hard. Sometimes you got to wait a little bit. You don't know which order of go it is. So first we're going to have to manifest something, then you'll be able to do the next step and the next step and the next step. You might not be ready for it right away, or you have this crazy idea like, I want to do this and that, and it's just, nope, you got to start somewhere else. So it takes time and relaxing. A lot of relaxing, a lot of meditations. Yeah.
And sometimes just being out in nature and being quiet, just being quiet and just connecting, and just relaxing, just letting everything, just be peaceful,
Right.
or, even just putting your feet in water, if you go to the lake, or just, simple things helps you get in tune with yourself.
Yeah.
Understand what's going on. Yeah, it's not.
Music is always a good one.
Mm-hmm.
You can also get books. You can go and get books about any metaphysical things on how to tap into your intuition. I actually teach a class on that, and I haven't put one out lately. Maybe it's time for me to do another one, how to tap into your intuition. Bonnie teaches Reiki. Bonnie teaches a lot of classes too. And the Gifted, I know they teach stuff. It just depends on who you feel drawn to go to, or what books you feel drawn to read, because you want to, use your own intuition by that gut instinct saying, oh, this is the one. Like, I just knew when it was the person that I was supposed to go to. I knew that was the person like that. And so I was like, okay, well, that person's going to help me. And then, sometimes I'd get steered in another direction, and it can be really frustrating at times, because you don't just get all your information like you want. It doesn't just happen like that.
Yeah.
You can't just go, boom, I'm awakened.
Yeah.
And we all go through it for a long, long time, and we all go through different levels of it. And so and like we call it the proverbial onion, that we're kind of peeling off little layers at a time, because you're only going to be ready for so much at a time. And you can peel off one layer, and then you have to do the work with that layer, and then you move forward. And then it's little bits at a time. It's little baby steps. And Spirit always showed it to me like climbing up a set of stairs to heaven, is what they kind of showed me. And they'd be like, okay, oh, you just finally climbed up another step. Like, oh, I finally figured that out. And it's not always easy, but it is amazing. It's an amazing journey.
Yeah, for sure. And you just have to look back at where you came from. Sometimes you think, oh, I'm so stuck, I haven't moved, I haven't done anything for a very long time. But if you think about where you was 3 years ago, you'll be amazed. You'll be like, oh gosh, I am moving. I am doing something. And usually if you aren't moving, there's some healing to be done. So you have to go inside. And if you can't do it yourself, then that's when you call one of us. You call, a healer, and have them hold space for you to help you figure it out. Because eventually you'll get the answer. It's within you where the answer is. So we just help you find it, help you look for it, And so that's pretty much, intuitively. And I also do energy flow classes too, to help people with that too. So, there's a lot of things that we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. And we need to. I mean, in this crazy times, you know, the anxiety level is so high. And
Mhm.
the hate, unfortunately, is sometimes some days,
Ooh,
Lord, you know, I want
yeah.
to pull and stick my head in there and don't look. But yeah, we need it.
With
We all
being and being an empath, it's so heavy sometimes.
right, right.
You just have to turn that TV off. Just don't even,
Yeah.
you know, I know you got to know what's going on in the world, but you don't have to stay on there all day, you know. And it just, you know, keeps holding the light, keeps sending out the light. And the more that we do that, the easier it'll get for everyone else, you know.
Yes. Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
What else was I gonna say? So yeah, so
See if anyone
lots
else.
of classes. What other ways can you tap into yourself, into your own intuition? There's so many ways, so many things you can do. A lot of what I did was I would go to, Bonnie has an amazing meditation every Tuesday. And
Yeah.
are you going to keep doing them on Zoom also?
Yeah, I'm gonna continue to do it on Zoom.
Good.
I was thinking about going back to choices, but I'm gonna bring the computer with me. That way, whoever wants to join, they still can. I'll just, you know, open the computer up and do it
Good.
there
Good.
too. But I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just playing it by ear with this COVID stuff with choices. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, and so that's how that's one of the biggest ways that I tapped into my intuition is I took Reiki, which really opens you up, really helps you open up. It really helps you tap in, teaches you how to channel. It's really you're channeling energy. And so you learn how to channel, and it's just pure white light, God light, you know. And so you're safe, it's beautiful, it makes you feel amazing. It's how I healed myself. And that's why I learned it in the first place, because I watched what Dani did to me for me. And I went, holy crap, I want some of that. That was amazing. I felt like I was on a freaking cloud.
yeah,
Like, what the heck happened to me? I felt like absolute crap. And then 2 seconds later, I'm feeling freaking amazing. And so I was like, and I remember Dani, I said, I think I'll learn it for me, remember? And you're like, okay. Yeah, I didn't just learn it for me. You learn how to, you heal yourself, and then you turn around and then you pay it forward and you help the next ones.
yeah,
And that's what we're all doing here.
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely,
Take care of each other.
for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And those 911 calls when you're freaking out.
Yeah, I was like, Kathy, you
Go
got
ahead.
it. Oh man.
Yeah.
Michelle-
And we all get them. We all get them because the energy gets so high sometimes you just don't, you know.
Michelle
or you're trying
said,
to release something.
yeah, Michelle said, can this healing restore intestinal function? Question, large intestine has no tone, no peristaltic movement. Can this be restored? Doctors say no. Your thoughts? Guess what? I watched my mom heal herself from advanced ovarian cancer. She was told to pack her back to basically, and she did. She picked out her casket. She was told to do all that stuff. Literally, I'm not kidding. She brought herself back by self-hypnosis. Self-hypnosis and healing tapes.
Was alive
I mean,
for 30 years. Yeah.
One thing that we have an innate body. It's really, you know, if we could tap into that and communicate with our body, it wants to go to the original blueprint. It wants to be healed. It wants to be, it wants to move back to where it's supposed to be. So if you can, if it's like the same thing with the attraction, law of attraction. It's what your feelings are. It's your emotions that makes it work. So it's like Jesus always said, it was like the mustard seed could move a mountain. You can do that with your body too. If you truly believe that you can heal that, you can.
Yeah.
Ask for your help from your guides and angels, and anything can be healed with it, you know. If it's not your time, you know, anything can be healed.
Yes.
So I truly believe that with all my heart.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
And like I said, the doctor said to me, the rheumatologist said, I can diagnose you right now with fibromyalgia. And I said, no, I don't accept it. And I said, I won't accept it. And I said, I'm going to figure something else out. And he just went, okay. And guess what? It took me a bit, but I did it. And
yeah, but think about also what, I'm sorry, Kathy.
No,
think about how you you know, I remember the medications you took, like extra vitamins you took, you know, and all this, like supplements and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden it's like, poof, you didn't need it anymore. You know, like it helped you. It made you feel, you almost like detoxed yourself and cleansed yourself so much that your whole bio work there, I mean, everything could start fresh. And that was amazing to watch. I mean, you just inside outside, you know, how you changed. And that journey, I was lucky enough to witness it. Sometimes you don't see people for a long time or at all anymore. So with you, it was fascinating. I mean, it's the best example I got there, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I did go by, when I first started, Callie had told me to read this book, and it was Medical Medium by, you know, Anthony Williams. And I read it and I went, holy crap, that's exactly like he had what I had to a T in that book that nobody knows existed. That nobody knew that it existed. And so I literally went through his detox stuff, and it was amazing. And I only did certain things, but I knew, and that's when I started getting the information myself, or actually I started paying attention to the information that my guides were giving me.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I finally went, okay. And so I remember going to work and people said, your skin looks better. Well, I stopped eating pesticides. I started eating organic foods. Amazing difference. I felt like such crap. I try not to eat hardly anything with pesticides in it now. I think that honestly, my guides tell me that was the biggest thing. It's all the pesticides, because I ate a lot of fruit, and there's tons of pesticide in fruit if you don't get organic fruit. So a lot of that it was just toxic chemicals built up in my energy field, and probably, you know, different kinds of heavy metals, all kinds of different things that were really gunking up my energy system. And as a matter of fact, a lot of times I'll sit down in front of somebody with, you know, to do a reading, and I'll be like, you need to detox, you need to do this, you need to do that.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. And you can heal yourself with fruits, foods, natural things from the earth, going outside and getting in nature.
So part of my
Adam said he wanted to, Adam Weislick, he's going to be on next week, by the way. Not sure he wants to share publicly, but I do a different form of energy work. It helped me recently in a major way. And I said, yes, please. He said he had someone put a nasty spell on him. They set it to stop me from using my mediumship and healing on others.
Huh.
So, okay, he'll have to keep talking about that to explain it. Or maybe we can also ask him next week too, because next Monday, Adam Weislick will be on. He's a medium, and he works with paranormal teams. So that's going to be really fun to have him on.
The one thing that I found, back to the subject that you were talking about, was with the wellness practitioner program. I also was certified as a holistic nutritionist, and you need the mind, the body, and the soul all to come online together. Right. So you know, people go to the doctor and they just want to throw medicine at you and just, you know, work with the physical. And really, that if you eat the right foods, you can bring your physical body online. And then your mind is your thoughts. You have to bring that into, I believe that I can be healed. I believe that I'm in a healing cycle. And then soul, you know, connecting to your soul and bringing that in. And it takes all three for healing. And that's the miracle that we all have. And we could do that all for ourselves if we choose it.
Yeah.
You're totally right, Bonnie. That's totally, we're dead on. Yep. It's all of the above. And I think that you can do so much just with your consciousness, just with your mind and how you think. And that law of attraction, which is what you put out into the world, you know, your thoughts create those tendrils of energy that if you allow them to, and you expect that to happen, it'll go out, and then it'll come back to you when you accept it. So not everybody knows all this stuff. So I was trying to explain it in a very major nutshell, but what you think really does make a difference, and how you talk about yourself makes such a difference. What you say about yourself, what you think about yourself. So I was really, really hard on myself. I think everybody knows
I think we all are that bad.
Yeah, that's true. And we're so hard on ourselves, and we talk down to ourselves. And actually, I had to stop doing this. I noticed I started paying attention. it's probably after I took your flow class and I started paying attention, and I was like, what is it that I'm saying to myself? I'm like, you dummy, quit doing this and blah, blah, blah. And I'd be like, I was really talking nasty to myself all the time. And so now I do catch myself doing that, and I'll be like, whoa.
My
Okay.
favorite thing to say in that flow class is that if you were to look in the mirror and see your little 4-year-old self, would you say the things that you're saying to that child? Because that's what you're doing. You
That's
know,
true.
you need to love that child and take care of that child and promise that it'll be okay. And you know, that's the hardest thing for all of us to do, because we are all so hard on ourselves. And your thoughts create your reality. So that's just, and you know, your words do the same. It's all energy. It all comes back to energy.
Your emotions, and that's the biggest thing I see looking inside people's energy fields, is their emotions and what they do to your body. What your emotions do, being angry, being frustrated. And I got frustrated today. I was frustrated with the phone company because I couldn't get a hold of them, and it's been so hard to deal with something. And so I let myself get into that crap today, you know, basically get into that lower energy. I was like, oh, this is driving me nuts. And then it took me a little bit. I thank you, Jesse, for pulling me out of that, because she texted me and was like, are you okay? And I'm like, we all do that, but how you deal with it and bring yourself back into alignment is the key. So thank you so much for doing that.
So my favorite thing to say is that your emotions are your barometers. So if you're feeling sad, then you're out of alignment. And so you need to think about what you're thinking about that's gotten you to that point, and you dial it back to thinking about things that make you happy and letting go whatever it is that's bringing you down, and then you'll immediately feel the difference. You'll feel so much better, you know.
And sometimes it's changing your environment, changing your life. A lot of times when people start to awaken, they have to change things. They have to get a divorce. They have to do all kinds of different things, because what they're doing and how they're living their life isn't conducive to. I changed a lot of things. I used to play ball. I was, you know, doing all different kinds of stuff. The stuff I did 4 or 5 years ago, I look at my stuff coming up on Facebook and I'm like, that isn't even me anymore. I don't even know that person anymore.
Definitely. So Adam's saying, I always say the word intention. What's your intention, and what you're doing or going to do? You know, so it's your intention. So that's what brings you whatever it is that comes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely good.
And
it was
said, sorry. Go ahead. I was just gonna say, Michelle said, oh my gosh, very powerful. And it is really powerful when you realize the power that you actually have. And we all are connected to the divine. We all are part of the divine. And so we can connect with that. And that's how we heal ourselves. We're connecting to that God source is what we're doing.
Right.
And that's how we're tapping into it, because we have a piece of that inside of us. So okay, so
it's really, oh yeah.
Oh, you're fine. I'm a friend of mine has been working with me. She's a health coach, and just one of the most amazing women I've ever met. And so she always says too, when we say I should do this and I should do that, you know, you're already like with the should, you're putting like the negativity in there. And I always have to laugh because when we have our sessions or our meetings, at least 1 or 2 times I catch myself saying that. And it's, you know, no, I shouldn't, you know, I do what I do, and it's going to be okay. And if tomorrow I'm going to do this, and if I didn't do it today, it's fine. It will be whenever it needs to be. But little tiny words can, when you do it for so long, it can like harm yourself so bad. And it's just one little thing you can change sometimes, and to make it better, and to begin the process of healing, or finish it up, even depends on what level you are. And it is very powerful. Words can be very powerful.
Absolutely. And it can be also very harming, you know, someone who's really depressed and they can't get their thoughts out of the lower energies, and it's just they can't find their way back, because as a hypnotherapist, I know that you connect neurons, and you have to go through a whole retraining of the process in order to undo all that. It's really something that you should pay attention to and make sure that you don't get caught in that trap. You know,
Yeah, it's
pay
hard.
attention to your emotions when you start feeling sad, and catch it right from the beginning before you spiral all the way down. Because once you get all the way to the bottom, it's hard to get back out of there, you know. And learning about your emotions and how it is for you, and when you're starting to do that, you know, and to break those habits, you know, to immediately go to something else that'll make, or even just switching the subject, or even just changing the scenery, going outside, you know, get some fresh air, you know, just do things that stops that same reaction that you get when you start that little thing going on in your head. Um, uh, it's a lot of times people will say they don't even know how. They don't even know how to stop doing that. And so it's takes a lot of courage and a lot of strength, and people that'll hold space for you and help you climb out of there. But there are people out there, and that's what we do. We're all out here trying to help the people climb out of that space. And we're here to tell you that you can, you know, that it's, that, you know, with you can do it with help, or you can even find a way to do it yourself, but just climb your way out, because it can be done.
Yeah, you're not alone.
Mhm.
That is, I think, the biggest part of it. You are not alone, because in that moment, I've dealt with depressions all my life, and it's getting easier through all this work and with the work. And now that I understand how this works, but yeah, you are not alone, because that's the first thing you think. You're alone, and everybody is against me, and everything is just me. And yeah, it's rough. It's really, really rough. And
I mean, and even if there's no humans around, you also have your guides and your angels. You're never alone. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
When you're sitting there and you're really depressed and you feel like you have just nothing, just think about your angels, because they're right next to you all the time. They're there for you, and you have spirit guides that are beautiful, that are there for you. And they're the ones that put those little, you know, little things in our ears going, maybe this would be a better idea for you. Maybe this isn't such a good way. I had one morning I was walking into work, and something told me, something told me something wasn't right, and I just knew it, and I just went, whoa, and I just went, beelined it inside. And that was my guides. That was my guides and my angels helping me get there safely. And they're there for us for all kinds of different things. It doesn't matter if you're just going to the store for a couple things and you forget something, or I always think of Crystal when I say that, or if, you know, or if it's something really big that, I talked to somebody the other day, and he said that he knew if something was going to fall, and he just ducks before he knows, because he's so in tune with his psychic abilities, which was awesome. You know, and I think that people just don't realize how really able you are to connect with them already. It's just kind of learning that you already were connecting with your angels. And I always tell people this, but you have to ask your angels for help. You know, you have to ask them for help. You have to give them permission, because we have free will. So you want to always make sure that you ask your angels to help you out. Make sure, ask them to show you that they're there, because you're going to feel that love. You're going to feel that beauty. So you're never alone. And the other thing I wanted to say is the energies are so high right now. We're going through this collective, you know, awakening, which can be really tough. And so it's a lot of crappy energies and feeling kind of yucky, and it's raising the energy, and it's making us go through our stuff, whether we want to or not. And in that process, that energy raising high may make you feel irritable. So that energy raising is what it's like to raise your vibration. And that's what's happening all over the planet. And so I wanted to explain that, because some people may not understand that. And if you get down kind of like I did today, I just got, you know, irritable and stuff like that. And when you get down in the dumps like that, it kind of feels worse than it would have before.
Yeah.
Right.
So when you go down
it's like you go from one extreme to the other really fast.
Fast. Yeah. But there's no like in between. So we have to figure out how to bring ourselves back in balance energetically. And I talk like this because, you know,
the good thing for us is that we have lots of tools, and we got this old backpack that we can pull things out. And if that
Mhm.
doesn't work, we're just calling each other 911. I need
Yep.
some help. Ah,
Yeah, yeah.
I got the shakes. Help me out.
Oh yeah.
I got a download. I can't do it.
We get energy downloads from spirit, from source. So we go through literally what we call upgrades or downloads. And so when they come in, they kind of throw us off whack and they make us feel really wacky and whacked out. And it can be a lot to do with the full moons and the new moons and all the astrological signs and all that stuff. It really makes a difference. I mean, I worked in the hospital for 20 years now. So I know that, if you work in a hospital or it's like daycare or anything like that, full moon, stuff's going to be happening. Stuff's going to be
Oh
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I
For
think
sure.
people, it's so funny. It's like there's boxes that's okay for people, and sometimes like they know this stuff, but it's hard to believe, and some of the stuff is hard to believe, but it is really real.
Yeah.
And Jennifer said she was off to bed, and she said we're doing great, and I told her we missed her.
Good night, Jennifer. I hope you feel better. Get
Yeah.
some rest.
Yes. So she's getting, and we were talking about that the other day. I said I ended up getting some B12 out again. That's what I was doing when I was healing myself years ago now. And I got some B12 back out, and I was like, I'm exhausted. I couldn't even put a foot in front of each other. Yes, behavioral health at the hospital, Cassie said. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Pretty much everywhere. And I noticed it even when I was a scheduler. I noticed it would be nuts. It'd be crazy. I mean, it doesn't matter where you are. It just goes nuts out. But lately, for me personally, I've been more calm on new full moons, but I've been more whacked out on new moons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right there with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, all these astrological events, they she's like Adam's saying, is really rough for everybody because it's all these energies and keys and codes, and we're getting it all at once. We're still trying to do our shadow work. We're trying to let go of all this energies to make room for them. And so we feel like we're on this roller coaster ride. But the only thing that you can do is just take good care of yourself, sleep when you're tired, eat organic foods, and just drink lots of water, and make sure you bless it. We talked about that in another live we did last week. If anybody wants in detail, because we went on and on forever with that, but it really will help you out a lot. Meditation. And then if the day is just, for me, if the day just can't go right, I'm going to meditate. So if you find, my family knows to leave me alone if I'm in there meditating. They're like, oh, there she goes again.
Uh-huh.
The other way.
That's the door when she takes a shower, then that's it. Do not enter.
Yeah.
Meditating in
Absolutely.
there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And the shower water helps clear your energies really well too.
Yeah.
That's my biggest thing is I have to get in water. I'm like, all right, I got to do it. Salt baths are amazing. That'll help clear energies from your body. It'll help release any of those just yucky energies, especially if you're like around a lot of people in an area with a lot of people being depressing or, lower energies, just not happy and fun, and so there's a lot of different things you can do. You can ground your energy, walk barefoot outside.
Oh yeah.
Those are always just really easy things too.
Well, in the winter, when I always tell the people, okay, go and if you can, barefoot outside and all this stuff. And then I'm thinking, okay, it's negative some degrees. All right, let's change this up here. It's not going to work. The showers, really, it was my only escape for the longest time. Shut the door, turn on nice music, take a couple of deep breaths. Imagine especially when you come from a crowd. I have a crowd issue. So, and a lot of empaths, I'm sure, but I just, it's like a magnet sometimes. You drag all this stuff with you. You, Kathy, when you work at the hospital, I remember we talked about it many times, dry bathing. If you don't have a shower, get this all off of you. It is,
yeah. I'll never forget it was only a few weeks ago. Kathy was working at home because of COVID, she calls me up and she goes, I don't know what's going on. I'm ungrounded. Something's happening. And I go,
Yeah.
you moved your office to your house and you didn't clear it
Yeah.
for that. So all the energies from everybody calling and all that stuff was coming into her, and it was
Yeah.
driving her nuts in her
Yeah.
home. So I mean, that's the worst place to have it be,
Right.
the energies be upset like
Yeah.
that. But as soon as
And
she,
I hadn't even thought about it. So I'm so glad, because I just was like, I don't even know what's going on, Bonnie. I'm like, 911 Bonnie, can you just tell me what's going on? Because I'm busy, you know?
Yeah.
And it was pretty amazing, because she's like, yeah. And so, yeah, you can get energy. You can get lower energies even from a computer, from the internet.
phone calls. Well, she just had a
Anything.
direct line, like a grid, to the hospital in her house
Well,
without
I mean,
her clearing it.
we can go and do long distance healing, as well as that is good. The negativity comes from long distance as well. I mean, it's a two-way street. So that's why this is how it is. I see Adam just kind of said, I do snow walks. It's the most intense positive feeling ever, all bare feet. I do agree with you, Adam. That would be me too. But some of my clients do like their warmth, so I can't send them out in the snow, but I do agree. I love that too.
That's funny. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I mean, really, because energy goes both ways, you know, you gotta think about, if you think for a second, but she was in the middle of it. So she was like, sometimes you need somebody else from the outside to tell you, oh, make a grid, you know, clear the energy, bring in the light, push, you know, let the, you know, clear out all that emotion, because, you know, people usually call in there are all emotional. So
Right.
she was piping it right into her house.
Yeah. And I didn't even think about it. That was the funny thing. But
you know, people who are all working at home because of COVID, they probably don't think about that.
Yeah.
You know, it changes their energy space for sure.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it was interesting when it all first started. I could literally, for some reason, they keep wanting me to talk about this. I think it's probably because people are feeling energies from everything and feeling those negative energies, and they need to know how to release that a little bit. Like I could literally drive by a house or go by a house and I could feel the energies and the fear from people. And so this is what was coming into me, and I was feeling it. I was feeling all those fears and anxieties, and it seems to be ramping up a little bit right now again. And so just with the fears and stuff like that. So a lot of those things we were talking about, if you feel those things, you can also learn how to work with your own energy so you aren't taking in all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I can't explain all of that like in 2 seconds on here, but if you want to do some classes and stuff like that, there are definite ways, or readings we can teach you. All of us can teach you how to work on some of that stuff.
Just whoever resonates, you know.
Yeah.
You know, there's just so many different ways to deal with that stuff. And right now they're you know, they're going back into all that stuff about, you know, making people say, oh, there might be a second round. So, you know, we just have to focus on doing what we're doing and just be careful, be safe, and try not to let that run rampant in your mind, you know.
And not let fear take over too.
Well, exactly. And you know, I always used to say that to kids when they come and learn how to ride a horse. It's like, you don't need to be scared. You shouldn't be scared, but there should be a good amount of respect for the animal, you know, because first of all, it's a 1,000-pounder and you're like this itty bitty, but still the respect of each other. And I think this is exactly what is missing right now here too, or with in energy or in anywhere else, that there's respect. And that's where the hate is sometimes spiking a little bit extra, the complaining, you know, all of that good stuff. But I think a lot of people do ask me lately about protection. You know, what can I do to protect myself? And it's like with everything else, there's a lot of tools available, from crystals to, you know, using your own energy shields and all this kinds of stuff. So I think that would be a good one to work on for a class or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I remember the first time I was ever on a horse, you know, back to what you said in the beginning, I was thinking, I was terrified. And the reason why I was terrified, which I didn't know at the time, the horse just took off of me because it could feel my fear. But I found out later, because I had a friend do a regression, that I had rode a horse to my death, and that was the last time I was on a horse. And
Woo,
I'm
yeah,
like, oh, no wonder I was scared to death.
yep.
See, so
that'll
you
do.
never even know what it's attached to, you know?
Yeah,
It's so crazy. I know.
it is.
I still don't think I want to get on a horse, but I've worked through that, but I don't know. I might have to have you help me with that.
There you go. We can definitely do that.
Definitely
It's-
work that energy out.
I always wondered why. I love the water. I love to go to the beach and all this kind of stuff. And but you put me on a boat or I start swimming and I start panicking. I know how to swim, but it's like a couple of feet in there, I'm like panicking and I will go down. The boat the same way. And one lady did a past life regression, and she did say, well, that's the logic explanation right here. You drowned. You came on a ship or a boat over here and you drowned. Like,
It makes
well,
sense.
Yep. Ching.
Yeah.
Now, no, I'm still not perfect on a boat or anything, but I know why, and it's getting better, you know,
Yeah.
definitely. So it does.
It
It
helps
does.
you to start release it, you know, to
Yeah.
start releasing that energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
I had somebody ask me about past lives the other day, and I said, well, I've been able to see past lives for myself since I was a kid. But it is such a big part of what we do is past lives, because those past lives are what create phobias and fears in this lifetime that we don't have a clue about. And that's exactly what you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
And when you are able to, you know, like Bonnie does it a different way than me. I see it and kind of take the person through it, do like a soul retrieval. Bonnie takes them themselves in and they see it themselves more.
Right.
Through
Danny, how
hypnosis
do you work through that?
Well, it depends on what energy wants me to do. Sometimes I see it and I will walk them through it as well. Or sometimes I'm not supposed to know and I'm just going to let them do it, you know, let them work through it themselves, kind of.
So
Yep.
for me, it's more like I take them through hypnosis down in to see it, and then we find out where it began, and then I work with archangels and masters of light, and they go through a whole healing process and they release all that energy so that
Yeah.
when you come out, you're healed, and whatever lifetime is connected to that, it's like the roots of a tree, it will release that karma or that energy from that. And so
Right.
that's pretty much how it works with me.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Mine, I work with, I think we all work with the angels, by the way. Every one of us works with the angels. Danny works with the angels. That's what we're tapping into, and source. And so I do the same thing. I work a lot with, you know, the ascended masters and all the archangels, and I work with all the archangels also. You guys both taught me. And I wouldn't have it any
No
other
other
way, because
way.
they're the ones that keep us safe. You know, they're the ones that keep us safe going into people's energies, and there's all kinds of stuff out there. So, you know, we have to keep ourselves safe too when we're doing this stuff, and cleanse ourselves. We learn how to cleanse ourselves off, make sure that we're safe, you know, to go home to our families and all that stuff too. So,
Yeah.
but
Well, the minute you invite them in, the minute you invite them into your life, that's when everything changes.
yes,
Everything.
Mhm.
yes,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Yep, you open the door to it. You will, and that's why I think, you know, for me, when I said that earlier, I didn't want to see dead people. I wasn't ready for that, but I was ready to see the chakra colors, or, you know, even some sort of spirit, a guide from a person, you know, whatever it was, baby steps.
Yeah.
That's what I asked for. And then they throw you another bone and another bone. And so you get ready, you will be ready when you are ready, you know. And that is sometimes I had a few people, they will shy away from that too. Like, oh no, I don't want to do all this and too much. And you don't have to. You make the call. You put the boundaries out there. Boundaries is one of the biggest things. I mean, you are the one who's making the call. So you got to believe in yourself and believe in that.
Exactly. And spirit won't do anything that you don't want them to do.
Exactly.
They completely respect us. It's all about free will. And that's the worst part for them, is to watch us stumble around and fall, because sometimes we forget to ask for help. You know, it's just, you know, that's just how it is though. You have to ask them. And even if they do open a gift a little too fast, you can tell them to dial it back, and they will. You know, because if you're all of a sudden seeing full blown a ghost stand in front of you scare you to death, you could
Yeah.
say, okay, boundaries.
Right.
That's too much, you know. I'd rather just hear, you know, that's a little too much, you know, and they'll do whatever you ask them to do, you know.
Right, it is. I just laughed because I will never forget this moment. It's just one of those days where everything kind of goes wrong, and you know, the energy is just, oh, you just want to start over. And I got so mad, and before I'm gonna yell at anybody, I got in the car, turned on my music, and when I went out the driveway, I just yelled one time, like, it's enough. I just need a break. Stop. And all of a sudden you could hear it, like the chatter was all quiet. It was done. I'm like, okay, I went around the block 5 minutes, sang one song, and get back in the house, and I'm okay. Everybody was back in line. So that happens sometimes too.
Cassie says, how long did it take you to communicate and invite your angels in? The minute you say, I invite you into my life and I ask you to help me and guide me, you will notice things happen from that second on. They'll continue to help you from that second on. And it's as simple as that. That's all you have to do. That's it.
And don't feel like you aren't good enough, because they're here for us. That's why they're here. They're here to help us. And they're here to help us succeed in what we were supposed to come here to do, because we all had reasons for coming here. And that's why we're awakening, is because we're realizing, hey, I can help people. And it may not always be the way you think, but I can help people or do things that are good for the world and for other people. And, you know, it's just
my favorite thing to say is make your guardian angel or make your favorite angel. Like everybody loves Michael because he's the protector angel, but make them your best friend. Talk to them like they're your best friend. I mean, don't do it in a crowded grocery store when people think you're crazy, but you know, you're in the car driving, you know, you just say, hey, Michael, thanks for coming along. Thanks for, you know, showing me love and protecting me today, you know, and just talk to him. And before you know it, you'll start hearing his thoughts too.
The more you thank them too, the more they come forward, I want to say. I mean, it's kind of a two-way street again. To you give, they give, and you create your own little language between them too. You know, that's and whatever angel comes, I mean, for the Reiki a lot, I mean, Raphael is the healer. So yes, he's there, but I'm always, like you said, Michael, because we want to be protected. We want to have the person in front of you protected. We sent Michael to our loved ones to protect him, but there's so many more. And maybe that's, you know, another one you connected to, and ask him any kind of question, communicate, figure out your language, and there you are.
Yeah, I always call it energy language, because they're using energy, and they'll, whatever's in your mind, whatever, they use your mind like a little Rolodex. They'll like pop up pictures, or you'll see numbers, or you know, they'll just find whatever way that they can get you to notice that they're communicating with you. And it's just amazing. Once you open the door and say that it's okay, they're there. You know, they're always there behind you, but they'll step right in if you open the door.
Yes, exactly. And with some people see the pictures, have the visions, some people hear the words, and that's however you communicate with spirit, that will be pretty much the same.
Absolutely. So I can feel their energies, you know, because of the Reiki. I can feel, you know, Raphael's always on this side and Michael comes on this side. And then I always feel Metatron right behind me. They just know that I know that's where they're at. You know, their energy comes in the same way. So, you know, everybody just, they just figure it out as they go. We all learn every day. The more that we make a relationship with them, the easier it gets.
Yep.
For sure.
Absolutely.
And don't think that, you know, if you think of something in your mind, a lot of people with intuition or just a knowing, when you tap into your own intuition, it will come in all different types of ways. So you may just think about an angel or see like a vision of an angel in your head or something like that. Don't blow it away. Don't brush it away, because that's real. And so we tend to go, oh, that's not real. That's not real. And it takes a while to realize that, oh, maybe that was real, you know, and it feels kind of fake.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It feels kind of
Yeah.
fake when you,
Cassie says, how many angels do you have? The sky's the limit.
Yeah.
There's an angel for every need you'll ever have. There's there's one specific person that's an amazing, she works with the light and she's amazing. And there was literally a football field full of angels with Yeah.
us. I could see it. And I was like, I was awestruck to be able to work with them like that. And just that amazing, love and power that they have, healing ability, is just amazing. So you could have as many as you could imagine, I would
Yeah,
say.
because like you're born with one that's with you from the first breath to the last breath.
Mhm.
But you have angels that come in for every phase of your life where you need a specialty angel. They come in. And you can ask for them too. You don't have to know their name. You could say, I'm working on this project and I need a creative angel to help me do this, or I need one that's good at organization. Or you can even ask for a cooking angel if you're so tired of eating the same things and you want creativity. I mean, there's just sky's the limit with angels, and they just love to help us. That's what they're there for, you know.
There's a specialist angel for every single thing you can think of, just like what Bonnie said. And they can do the coolest things. That's what I have for my medical intuitive stuff. I work with a guide, a specialist guide. So we have all kinds of guides, and then we have angels, and then we have ancestors that we can also work with.
And animal guides too. We have
And animals. Yep. Spirit
I mean,
animals.
we just have a whole massive amount of things that we could pull from if we just know they're there, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, that's like we were saying in the beginning, you're never alone, that's for sure.
Exactly.
No, you don't. No.
Well, you guys want to wrap it up? It's about 7:10.
Yeah.
What's that?
This is really amazing, you guys.
Yes.
Thank
Well,
you.
when you that you're not alone, you know, not to be creepy or anything, but because, you know, I thought I was haunted by my guides at first and always peeking when I was taking a shower kind of thing, until somebody finally told me, like, do you feel watched? This is really not their attention. There are your guardian angels here, so they're all good.
Yeah, they don't care about the mundane things that we do. They're just there to help us. They're not being peeping toms or anything like that. Thank goodness. Yeah, don't worry about that.
They just told me that they see us as spirit, so they see us as light. So it doesn't matter if we're naked in the shower or anything.
Yeah, we're always light.
They always talk to me while I'm on the toilet, by the way, and I'm like, okay, cool, thank you.
I always say, yeah, they're always talking to you when you're on the throne.
Yeah.
Well, that's a way to wrap it up, you guys. We'll leave you with that. Find your wisdom on the throne.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and Dani, tell people how to find you, please.
Oh, yep. If on Facebook, I'm there, Reiki with Dani Muench, or through the Gifted Healing Arts Center in Charlotte. There's also on Facebook. Or I think you put it on the event, like my phone number or email address. So that will work. Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll go back in and share it on there again too. So if you guys have any questions, you can always contact me too.
I just to contact you. I said that's easy. Contact you, and you know, we see each other hopefully sooner now, but you know.
Yeah.
By the way, Dani's my sister-in-law. She's my family.
Yeah. So you can, all of our information is on the page, on the parts page. So
exactly.
So look for us there. So this has been amazing, you guys.
Yes.
You all have a good night.
You too.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, this has been a blessing.
This was so much fun.
Yeah.
And thank you, everybody. And Cassie said our hearts must be so full, and yes, they are. And I'm so cheered up to be with you guys because I was in a funk earlier. And
Yeah.
Adam said great show, and Dennis said awesome. So thank you guys so much for coming in and asking lots of questions, because it makes it so much more fun that way.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Yeah, we couldn't
Yes.
have this without you. We appreciate you asking the questions.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
All right. And we missed you, Jennifer.
Yeah, Jenny, we missed you. Hope you
Yes.
feel better.
Yes. All right. And next week we're going to have Adam on Monday, and then we're putting together some more people to come
Some
on
more
soon.
amazing people.
Oh yeah.
Stay
So
tuned.
we'll have lots of people on. Yep.
Yeah.
And we're just going to kind of keep having fun with it. All right. Love y'all. See you later.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.